Are you guys still to corn in Texas? Well, we got some bad news for you.
The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments about whether a Texas law designed to protect children online from pornography also violates free speech protections. The court allowed the law to take effect last year, which requires website operators to perform age verification checks. Fox 4's Alex Boyer has more on the case. Alex.
Bro, any adult male today who has access to the internet has been on a pornographic type of website at least once in their life. They do not verify those ages the way you think they should. They ask you a question. You can clearly click on if you're over 18 or 21, whatever the age was, and you could be like 13 years old. How is that verification? I don't understand that.
Hey, Steve, and as you might expect, this has become one of those hot button issues. At its core, constitutional law experts say that this case is really about freedom of speech, the regulation of online content, and also the protection of minors. Inside the U.S. Supreme Court Wednesday, the justices heard oral arguments in a high-profile case over access to online pornography in the state of Texas.
To a Texas law that burdens constitutionally protected speech based on its content, specifically by imposing an age verification barrier before anyone can access a sexually themed website.
Derek Schaefer represents the so-called Free Speech Coalition, made up of several high-profile online porn sites, including Pornhub. The platforms pulled out of Texas after the state legislature passed a law in 2023 that makes adult websites verify users' ID before letting them access content.
Okay.
Supporters say the law is
that makes sense. I need to see your ID. Like, before I have to really know that you're over 18 before you're looking at this bullshit.
To protect minors from explicit content and its potentially...
It's amazing how we're actually fighting against this. Like, porn has... I mean, this video is probably gonna get whatever, but whatever, has been looked down upon forever, as it should be. It's sexually explicit stuff that kids should not be looking at. And the fact that we have to even debate on should we have this really strict verification for everybody to get onto it is just, it's beyond me. Like, y'all really care about this stuff?
Effects on mental health.
It's crazy.
We've tried content filtering for decades, and the problem has only gotten worse.
Some of the more conservative justices seem to agree with the state.
And I think that the explosion of addiction to online porn has shown that content filtering isn't working.
But the adult entertainment industry claims the law.
Bro, these kids can't even look at Let me tell you something. I don't know if I say porn, if I really say it, does it like ban the video or something like that? I'll just say corn. But corn has so many negative effects on your brain. It's so addicting because it is a very attractive thing. It's almost like it gives you this super high dopamine. It gives you that feeling like, oh, you want to do what's going on in the videos and all that. Like, we get it. But it's just sad because it will ruin you. It makes dudes limp dick. It makes dudes, even girls, it makes y'all not get aroused like you should naturally because you're overstimulated. You got too much dopamine coming too fast. It's like a dopamine rush is supposed to come like a reward system, right? Like if you're doing something, but if you're just over there jacking off or just touching on yourself and you're not interacting sexually with a real person, you do that too much, you're going to be overstimulated. And it's like, now when you actually do have sex, you're going to be looking crazy. Or you can't even initiate sex with a real partner because now you're too weird. You don't know how to approach females now. You're looking at girls like, you look at every single girl. Let me tell you something. For my homies out there, y'all know them dudes that like them older women, dudes that be like, when we were back in like college, they'd be like, we were like 19, 20, and they would be looking at these 50, 60-year-old women like they would want to do something like, have sex with them. It's because they were overstimulated. They would literally fuck a jar of peanut butter. Like these dudes would literally, anything that has like boobs and a decent butt, they would want to sleep with because they probably have a porn addiction. That's not no high testosterone. That's you having a porn addiction. So cut the crap. People saying, oh, he just got high testosterone. No, he has a pornographic addiction, most likely, because if you're willing just to bang anything, you got a problem.
Violates freedom of speech and regulation of online content, a point Justice Sonia Sotomayor spoke to.
The question presented is not whether this law passes, is constitutional. The question is what level of scrutiny.
So I think it's a little bit of a long shot for Texas.
I talked to a constitutional law attorney about the merits of this case.
The dispute today is over what's the core issue that the legislature
That artwork on the back of that wall is horrendous.
Is it a
It
health
has
and
nothing to do with the video, but I'm sorry, it just kind of stood out.
safety type of regulation, which receives a very lenient review from our court system, or is it a restriction of speech, which gets a very serious review, strict scrutiny, it's called, from the courts, and is unlikely to succeed? Traditionally, this kind of law has received strict scrutiny and not been affirmed by the courts, but Texas is trying to make some inroads on that precedent in this case and maybe produce some new precedent going forward.
So following the 2.5-hour arguments today, the plaintiffs ultimately asking the high court to reinstore the preliminary injunction. David Cole tells me that he expects it'll take some time, probably a few months, before a decision is reached.
Interesting. I think that's interesting, man, that we're actually debating on whether we should have more restrictions on pornographic material to protect the minds of our kids. Y'all know the mind is a very dangerous place. If you don't take care of your mind, it will affect your whole life. Like your body, everything. When you're stressed out, your body looks weak. You know what I mean? You do stupid stuff. Just like corn. It's not good, man. Trust me. Have y'all ever been on dates with people and you could just tell that they had no idea how to just stay focused, like to stay on code on the date? It's like everything had to always progress to sex. Or if you didn't progress it to sex, the girl would kind of back out and stuff like that. And it has me wonders, like, these people have to be addicted to some kind of thing, like porn or something, corn or something. I said P, sorry. I mean, whatever, porn. If the video gets banned, who cares? But they have this they're overstimulated by stuff like this, and it causes them to have bad interactions with the opposite sex. So anyway, I don't need to be going on this, harping on this shit. Y'all already know this is bad for you. Get off the corn. Protect your kids, man. Listen, man, I'd rather y'all, especially y'all dudes out there, because I think it'd be mostly dudes on corn, because, you know, girls can just call up guys anywhere. The most hideous female can have access to at least majority of average-looking dudes, right? Your average-looking dude does not have access to most females. So y'all women, y'all have a lot of sexual power. So I think it's mostly dudes on this corn stuff. And I think that y'all guys, man, let me tell y'all something. Y'all need to focus on other things. I know it's hard. We were all there at one point. But some of y'all are like damn near 30, in your late 20s, in your 40s even, still struggling with corn. Masturbating, touching on yourself all the time. You need to get a girlfriend. Get you an old lady. Get you a chick that you can have, like, you know, exclusiveness with and bust your nut on, whatever. I don't know. Do something like that, because this corn stuff, it ain't it, bro. It's bad for your mind, body, and soul. You know what I'm saying? And these females, if you ever get with a girl and you wonder how come she claims she into you, but she don't really get wet like that and blah, 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 it's probably because she's watching too much porn too, man. You know what I'm saying? It's making everybody crazy. Making everybody crazy. Get off the shit, man.